Okay, I think we are good to go now. Let's begin. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on mastering data pipelines and ETL with Lumenore Data Magnet. I am Raj Tiwari, Big Data Architect, and joining me is Sarvesh Kumar Singh, Senior Data Engineer. And we are really excited to have you with us today. So, what we'll be having on our today's agenda will be Sarvesh, can you move to the next slide? So what we'll be having on our agenda will be about Luminor, what is ETL, what is data magnet, a demo session on mastering your data pipelines and ETL, and a small Q&A session to get our questions and answers on. I hope at the end of this session, you all will learn something good. So let's dive right in. So I'm thrilled to introduce to you Luminor, a Gen AI powered data analytics platform designed to make data decisions easier, faster, and smarter for any business user. Basically, it combines artificial intelligence, natural language querying, and advanced analytics so you can interact with complex data sets and uncover valuable insights without any deep technical expertise. Moving on to our capabilities, Luminor basically provides you an end-to-end ecosystem to support the complete user journey, and we have various modules to cater each step in the journey. Starting with our data magnet, which is a user-friendly drag and inbuilt ETL module that simplifies data integration by enabling users to extract data over 100 plus pre-built connectors. You can transform your data and deliver it to different destinations like warehouses or any other analytics and right? With automated integration and seamless data transformation capabilities, it ensures accurate and reliable data for analytics and reporting. Then we have the data lakehouse, which provides high performance storage and offering horizontal scalability for larger data sets. Another module is the Luminor Insights, which transforms your raw data into actionable insights through AI powered dashboards, enhanced visualizations, and interactive charts. An important module of Luminor is an Ask Me. Luminor Ask Me is an AI-powered conversation analytics tool that allows you to query your business data in natural language. With advanced analytics, visualization, and RCA agents, it delivers actionable insights from both structured and unstructured data. And lastly, we have the Luminor Advanced Analytics module that covers conversation analytics and machine learning capabilities. It helps you uncover data stories with clear and actionable recommendations, leveraging data science and machine learning for deeper analysis. But before we dive into Luminor Data Magnet, let's take a quick step back to understand what is ETL, because ETL is the backbone of every analytics system. So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Simply put, it is the process of pulling data from different kind of sources, cleaning it and preparing it, and loading it into a destination where it can be analyzed or used for reporting. Now let's consider an example of a healthcare organization with data which is spread across multiple different sources, like a REST API, or suppose an Excel file in OneDrive, or a local CSV file. Now, suppose if your organization wants to answer a question like which medicines are most commonly prescribed to our patient. So this information won't be available in just any single system, right? But here's how ETL solves it. It extracts data from different sources like a REST API, from your Excel file, a CSV file, or say a RDBMS system. You can create transformations on it. You can clean your data, join it, and create calculated fields like repeated prescriptions. And then you can load the data to a unified data set into a data warehouse or an analytics platform. In short, ETL turns scattered and raw data into analysis ready insights. And that's exactly where Luminor Data Magnet comes in. So Luminor Data Magnet is an intelligent ETL engine powering smarter decision making. With over 100 plus pre-built connectors, it enables seamless integration across databases, CRMs, ERPs, cloud storages, flat files, and REST APIs. But what sets it apart is its drag and drop interface. Instead of writing complex SQL queries or JavaScript scripts, or even creating bigger data pipelines, users can basically visually design their workflows, connect their sources, define transformation, and even schedule loads. It automatically handles data type conversions, mappings, and incremental loads, making ETL not just easier but smarter. So, moving on to the capabilities of Data Magnet, the capabilities of Data Magnet include features like change data capture, support for unstructured data like REST API or MongoDB or JSON files or Parquet files. You can schedule your data, add alerts to it so that you always know when your data was loaded, and you can get always data ready for your insights. We have the capability for real-time data streaming and much more. But in order to show you this, I would like Sarvesh to proceed further on this.
Hello everyone. Thank you Raj for the brief introduction. So everyone, I'll take you through Luminore's ETL capabilities. With we'll start with Luminore's login page. I've come to the Luminore's website and I can see I have to mention my email and password. I'll do just that and sign in. After I sign in, I'll just choose the organization for today's demo. I'll continue. And now we are on the Luminore's homepage. So let me take you through the UI. So on the left side, you can see there is a data button. Here you can access 80 plus connectors which Luminore offers to bring your data into Luminore and into our data warehouse for some insights. Next, you can see under the data tab, there is a self-service dashboard section where you can make your dashboards to get insights from them. Then under the dashboards, as we discussed, it's Luminar Ask Me. It is a conversational analytical tool where you can give your questions and get insights from them. Under it is an advanced analytical platform. It is Do You Know, which Do You Know offers much more advanced analytics than the dashboards, such as correlation, forecasting, and sentimental analysis. Just under Do You Know is Luminor's Data Magnet, and it would be the center of our discussion for today. So I'll just click on the data magnet. Okay. Now on your screen, you can see Luminar Data Magnet's landing page. Data Magnet is just another word for the Luminar's ETL tool. So before we begin and explore capabilities, I'll just make a new project for today's webinar. So I clicked on the plus button. I got an option to mention my project name. I'll make a project webinar. I'll select the connectors. These connectors are the sources which we'll use for today's demo. So I'll just select all and just create a project. Okay. Now I got my project and you can see a new name is written on it. I'll just click on it. Now all the configurations about my ETL and everything required for my connectors will load. And now we are on the designing section of our Luminore's ETL tool. So before we go further, we should discuss today's use case, what we will be actually solving in today's demo. So here I have some data from a hospital which has the patient's name, their details such as gender, age, and city, and a patient ID, which will be an identity column which will be unique for every patient, and a room ID. Room ID indicates these people they were admitted into the hospital. Now, this is the patient details. Now, I have a CSV where again I have the patient ID and it is the same as the Excel, but I have a total expenditure. That means how much money was spent by each patient here. As you can see, one was an Excel, another one was a CSV. Now, for a third one, we actually have an API because actually the advanced system today always have data stored in various formats. So this would be an API from where you can see there is an admission date as the when the patient was admitted into the hospital, the weekday of that date, OPD if there was an operation done or not, and again the patient ID, which is same as the Excel and same as the CSV. So what we will be trying to do is combine all these three datas and get the clean and perfect data out of it which will tell us if that patient has spent some money and on which date with us. And plus, you can see there are some issues in the data as well. There are hyphens in the name which should not be there usually. There's a plus in the column section which should not be there. So we'll explore cleaning also. Now going back to Luminore's ETL, you can see this is the designer panel. This is the designer panel of our ETL where we'll make our jobs. So first option here, the highlighted blue icon, is the Actions tab. Actions tab has the source, the target, and the transformations. As the name suggests, sources can be methods, Excel file reader, and table input, which will read Excel, CSV files, and IDBMS data tables from IDBMS databases as mentioned. Target would be how we want to load our data. Sometimes we just want to dump it into an IDBMS database. Sometimes we want to extract the file out of it. So these are the target steps. And transformations would be the various steps which would be required from us just to clean our data or maybe add some checks into it. So without any further notice, I'll just start it. So what our first case is, the file which we have, the Excel file which I've just shown you, is actually stored on my OneDrive right here. So I'll just go into the ETL tool. I'll click on the Excel. I'll drag it to the designer section. Now you can see the Excel tab is here. I'll just double click on it. When I double click on it, you can see you get an option to load it from your local, or you can get it from a connector. And in my case, I want to get it from a OneDrive. I'll just click on OneDrive. I'll click on Authorize, and the Authorize tab will open, and it will successfully let me in into my OneDrive and show me all the files which are present in the OneDrive. So let's wait for it to authorize. Okay, now it has authorized successfully, and I can just click on next. So when I click on next, I get all the folders and all the files which are present in my OneDrive. So it is only listing them. It has not downloaded anything into Luminore's system. So I can just go to the hospitals folder. I can just click on it. It will show me the file present in it. Just one update, as we are in the Excel tab, it will always show us the Excel format files. There can be other files, there can be CSV and PNGs, but we will only see the Excel file. So you see this drop box here. I'll just click on it. I'll check on it. Now I get an option to import it. I'll just click on the import button. It will on the background download the file. It has been successfully downloaded. And now you can see the file right here. Now I get an prompt, the blue button to select my sheets. I'll just click on the next one, and you can see all the column names with the data type listed down here, and I'll just save it. So now what has happened, the Excel file from OneDrive has come into my Excel button right here. So now I'll get a preview step. What preview step does it? It will preview the data from it. Now, as it is an ETL tool, we'll have to connect the Excel to the preview button. Now, what will happen right here is the data from the Excel will start flowing into the preview. So I can just run it and preview it. But before we preview anything, we always have to save our jobs. In case as this is a web-based app and this is a website, there can be crashes. So it is always advised to save it. So I'll just give it a name, like demo 1, and save it. Now I've saved it. Now I'll just preview it. So what this will do is this will get the data from the Excel from the OneDrive and preview it as a tabular structure right here. You can see. But there's an issue in this only. You can see the patient ID is in the form of decimals, which is not right. So let's go into the Excel tab, and in the sheet section, I can see the data type was mentioned here. I can just maybe click on it and cast it to integer. I'll just select integer, save it, and run it again. Let's wait for the preview to come. Now what I can see is the decimal type is automatically casted into the patient ID, which has become integer now. And there is a log section also, which is telling me how much time this whole pipeline took to run, just to preview the data from OneDrive. Now, going to our next source, which was an API, which had the admission date and the weekday for us. So I'll just copy the URL and I'll go and search for API in the action section. You can see a REST API has popped up. I just drag it onto the designer screen. I'll double click to open it, and you can see on the UI I am getting options to mention my URL, to write some code, and maybe give some headers as well. So this particular API, it only has a URL. It is of get type. So I've just clicked on the get button and I'll just save it. Now, as this particular design is already saved, I'll just go to REST API and I'll run it. Now I've just run the REST API. But what we see actually is what has happened. The API data was in JSON format. I think everyone is familiar with JSON format. So this JSON format has automatically been converted into a tabular structure. It has been done by the REST API step. We don't have to do anything. The ETL tool automatically digs deep into your REST API and figures out all the levels which are stored in the data and breaks it into a tabular structure. So now I get the data from the Excel and the REST API are on my screen. Now what my requirement was, there was a patient ID and I want to combine the data to get what meaningful data I can get. So I have to join them. So saying that, I'll search for a joiner. Here is the joiner. I'll drag it onto the screen. I'll disconnect the preview from it. And I'll connect the Excel and the API both to the joiner. Now I'll double click the joiner and open it. Now what I can see is I'm getting the option to select my table. I click on Excel, I get the columns. I'll just click on it, save it. And same for API. Okay, patient ID should be my column. I'll just save it. Now, what will happen? The data from both these steps will come into the joiner and I'll get a result after joining both my data. So what has happened here is one Excel file came from OneDrive, one JSON data came from the API, but both of them have been converted into a table on the fly, live on the screen, and have been joined. Now the data is joined. Now I can get the patient names and the weekday and the admission date at the same point. Now going the same with the CSV, which we saw right here. This was the CSV. So it is stored on my local. So let's just get the file reader step in the source section and drag it here. I'll double click, I'll browse my files, and I'll go and select the CSV file and open it. Once it is uploaded, I'll get the option to select my files. But what we can see here is the column names are not correct. The data types might be correct, but the column names are not. And in the file, what the case was, the columns and where the header of the file was starting from the fifth row. So again, I'll go back here. I'll go to the advanced configuration section. And here what we can see is there is an option to define the header row. It was set to 0. I'll set it to 5 as my CSV file was starting from the fifth row. So I'll set it to 5. Here my delimiter is mentioned. The comma is my delimiter as this is a CSV file. I'll just save this. Now what we see is automatically the column names have come as they were in the file. I'll just save this and I'll preview the CSV once. So now the CSV is on Lumenore's ETL background and we can preview the data from it. Now this CSV has the amount data, how much amount was spent by the patients on the hospital. So again, we'll need to join the data. So I'll get the joiner. I'll select my CSV, the file data step to the joiner. Now I want the result from the Excel and API, the join which came out to be used and joined to the CSV. So I've connect the joiner with the second joiner. I'll open the second joiner. I'll get the columns from the CSV. It would be patient ID because as I mentioned, patient ID was our identity column. Now in the joiner, I'm again getting the patient ID which came after joining both the old sources. I'll save it and preview it. Now on your screen, what has happened is the Excel, the API, and the CSV from my local, all three have been joined live. Now what we can see here is the data is coming out as preview, but there are some extra columns which are not really important for me. So what I can do is I can go here, I'll get the selector step, and I'll try to remove all the extra columns which are coming to me. I'll open the selector, it will automatically fetch the columns, and I'll just uncheck it. As the room rating, the room ID, and the OPD and the gender, they are of no use to me. I'll just unselect, save, and preview it. Now I get a notification that graph has been executed, and you can see the extra columns have been removed. Now just one last thing in this data, what I can see is the age column is of decimal type, which is not right. So in further, what in the start of the demo, what we did was there was an option to change the patient ID into integer at the Excel, but now we have applied two joins, so we don't know where exactly this age is coming from. So what we can do is we can get an editor and cast it into integer. I'll connect the selector to the editor and I'll just open it. Now I'm getting an option to derive a column. I'll click on the plus. I'll just write a simple SQL expression. We don't need to write the whole query. I'll just write a simple expression, cast age as int. And I'll give this column a name, age int. I'll validate my expression and I'll just save it. Now, once I preview this editor, what I'll see is the age column should become integer. The age column, which was double, has now become an integer. But there are two age columns now. So again, what we will do is we'll go search for the selector. I'll zoom this out a bit. Yes, I'll just select the selector. I'll attach it after the editor. I'll open it and I'll just drop the old age column, which was of decimal type, and save it. Now this pipeline is complete. The data is coming from all three sources as I wanted. I'll just preview it for the last one time. And yes, we can see all the data which I wanted is there. And I'll just update the graph. But in the modern ETL scenarios, this is the first stage of a job. So what we'll do right now is we'll try to load this data into a table, but before we load it, there should be some checks which we should add. So I'll just open a new tab, and this demo one, this particular pipeline which we saved, is in the graph section, as you can see. Now what I'll do is I'll go to the action section, I'll select a graph. This graph step is same as this graph section. So whatever we see in the graph section will be visible inside the graph. I'll just open it and I can see the pipeline which I've saved. I'll click on it, I'll save it. Now let me again try to preview what actually is happening inside the graph step. So I'll just preview it, and as we have to save it, so I'll just give it a name, a job. And now I'll just preview it. So what we'll see is what actually is happening here is graph which was saved by me, the whole pipeline which I made from OneDrive and REST API, on that pipeline ran again. You can see the Excel ran, the joiner ran, the API ran, and again the joiner and everything as we did. What has happened here is this particular pipeline is now running only in this single step. So what capability this gives us? Now let me just give it a name. I've given it a name, extraction flow, because I'm just extracting my data from the source. Now, as we discussed, we want only the right kind of data to be loaded into our tables. So I'll just maybe get a filter. I'll filter out the wrong type of data from it. I'll attach the filter to the graph. This graph will get me the result of joining all the steps. So I'll just open the filter tab. I'll add a new expression here, and I'll just maybe write age underscore int should be less than 100. I want the data of I'm setting a rule here. So what this rule tells us, I want only the data of the people who are under the age of 100. I'll just validate and add it. I'll save it. Now the rule is set into my filter. But we again want to preview it if the data is right or not. So I'll just attach the true node of the filter. The true node means the condition and the rule which are set should work fine, and I should only get the data which satisfies my condition. So I'll just run it. I'll go to the preview screen and it is working fine. There was some age data which was more than 100. Now everything has been removed. You can see the row count has been decreased, and now I'm getting the data which I want to load. So we want to load. So for loading, we of course want to connect to our database. So I'll go to the connection tab and I'll see there is nothing saved as of now. I'll just go to the plus button. I'll select these are the various connectors which are ordered, which are given to us by Luminore's ETL. I'll just select SQL Server for this case. I'll give it a name. I will call it SQL Server. Database is, I know what my database already is, and I'll just enter my password, this name, and the schema. Now I'll try to test it. It has been verified. Now I can add and save it. Now what I can see, a SQL Server connection has been saved here. But how I can use it? Because I want to load it. So again, I'll go to the action screen. I'll open the target section. I'll get a table output step. In fact, I'll get two. Why two? We'll see in a short while. Now I'm connecting the true and the false node of the filter with the table output. The true node was giving the data which satisfies my rule, and the false node is giving the data which does not satisfy my rule. So I'll just go to the table output. I'll select creating new table. I'll get an option to select the connection which I made, and I'll just give it a table name. I'll give it the table name true data. And same in the background. Again, I'll select the SQL Server, and here we are loading the false data. I'll just save this. I'll remove the preview bit because now what we are doing is after extracting our data from in this pipeline, the demo one, we extracted from the Excel, the API, the local CSV. We have joined out the data, dropped the columns. We are taking this data, filtering the right data, and loading the data which is valuable to us, which is the data of the patients of the age greater than, oh sorry, less than 100, will be loaded into this table, which is true data, and the patients which are more than 100, which is not valuable to us in our insights, will be loaded into another table. I'll just run this and maybe save it as well. Now, what we can see from the logs that Excel and everything has started, the extraction flow has started, and you can see everything ran, the table output also ran. So the data has been loaded successfully into our SQL server, and we have completed a basic pipeline. But there is one more case which we should consider before making any a great ETL is in the patient's detail section. What we saw, there was a city column. The patients were either from Delhi, either from Noida, either from Gurgaon. So what I want is, my manager has told me I only want to load the data from Delhi or Noida. Suppose this is the case, and this pipeline was already saved and it was running fine. Now what I can do is I'll just go and bring the Excel step. I've written the name of the two cities which I want to load in an Excel, and I'll get a looping component. That would be a job executor. So I'll connect the Excel to the job executor. Firstly, I'll get this Excel into my Excel component into the ETL tool, and I'll save it. I'll save the graph, and I'll just preview the Excel. Now what we should see is there should only be two rows which have the cities for which I want the data to be loaded. So here is an Excel step, and here are the cities which I want to load. But how to make sure that only this data is loaded from these steps. So I'll just go into the filter here in the job, and the expression which I've added, I'll add a new expression. So in the new expression, what I'll mention is city, which is the city column, equals to, I'll give the name set city. Now, why I gave this name? What does this imply? Let me show you. I'll just validate add and save it for now. Now, in the looping graph, again we come here. We see the column name was city. Now I'll open the job executor. In the job executor, I'll see the job which I made just now. You can see it again, job demo 1. I'll just select it and I get an option to add the columns. Now in the add the column, I'm getting the column name which came from the last column, which was my file. This city, you can see it on the background. And I'll just make a variable out of it. So what does a variable mean? I'm just saving it. So a variable means that whatever value I'm giving from this executor, wherever it sees the word set and city together, this word, this will become a variable. It will automatically replace this particular word with the values of the file. So the variable name was city. Now we go back again to the looping component. Here we gave the name city, right? This was the name city. And automatically what will happen is this looping component will pick up these names and load the data from it. I'll just save it and run it. So now automatically what has happened, I have added another layer of validation and checks on my old pipeline, which was filtering the data. But now it will only filter the data and load the data of the two columns, which were Delhi and Noida. And you can see again what has happened here is the extraction flow, which was our actual flow, which were extracting the data. It ran, it got the files from OneDrive, my local, and the REST API. It will go again, fetch the data, it will come back here, and it will pick up the value of the city and load it into the SQL Server instance. So that's all. I think this should be clear itself. Now this was the ETL part of it. You know, just one last thing out of this. I'll tell you how to automate this flow. See, okay. So now we'll try to automate the flow. You know? So what we did was we made a graph right here to bring our data from the other sources. We have made add some rules on it to filter it. Now we have added looper component also on it. Now I want to schedule it. What this schedule means is we'll automate this whole pipeline into a time based on our time zone and our schedule. And what actually will happen is every time this automation will run, uh, it will automatically fetch all the data from OneDrive, which was present in the Excel, same as it will fetch all the data from the API, and it will automatically get the file which was stored from my local. So in the schedule, what actually happens is everything at the source end will start at will come afresh. All the data would refresh and it will come out as a new data. So you don't have to worry about that. You always have to update the file in OneDrive, or you always have to change some things in OneDrive, or maybe your new data is coming out or not. Like suppose this data was of 8th October, and the schedule we make it for 9th of October. So automatically every date, all the new data will be pulled out. Now I'll go to the scheduler section and I can see a create schedule button here. I'll just click on it. Let's wait for it to load. Yeah, I'm getting a name. I'm getting a name. I'll just name my schedule looping schedule. Now what I'm getting here is the time zone. There are various time zone. We are in India, so I'll select IST. Now your scheduler type would be a job. Yes, we made a looping job. Uh, so I'll get the name demo job 1. I'll just select it. Oh, sorry. I'll select the looping job. We were supposed to run the looping job. Now the time is 13:40. I'll go to the hour section. I'll select 13. In the minute section, I'll maybe select 41, and I'll just save it. So why I selected 41? Because I want this job to run right now. So while this job runs on the background, let's go to another functionality of data layer. I'll open a new tab, and here I will go to the action section, and I'll show you how to extract data from the RDBMS sources. So RDBMS sources are the databases. We have made a SQL Server connection right here. So I'll go to the action section. I'll drop table input, which is a source tab. I'll double click and open it. I'll get the prompt to select my SQL Server connection, and I'll get the prompt to fetch the tables. So these are the tables which you loaded right now. The true data and the false data. I'll just select the true data, and I'll see. What we can see here is there is an option called change data capture. What table input does it? It reads the data from your database inside your schemas and everything. It goes to the table, brings out the data into Luminor. It will not store, it will just bring the data live into Luminor. What change data capture does it? It is a strategy, because in modern ETL 4 tools, we cannot always load historical data. So what we have to do is we have to have some checks that we only want the new data to come. Of suppose this job was made and scheduled on 8th of October. I want the data only from 9th of October. So CDC will help me in that. Let me show you how. I'll just add a connect condition. Now I had a patient ID, which was the identity column at the start. I'll just select it. I'll select this condition. It will tell me maximum. What maximum means is automatically data ETL, the data magnet, the ETL tool, it will go to the database, go to the table. It will select the maximum patient ID, store it, and on the next run, I'll just apply and save it. So when I run it, when I run this particular graph, what actually will happen is it will store the maximum ID. And suppose today the maximum ID was 10,000, and tomorrow or maybe in 1 hour or so, we get another patient in some hospital, and the ID next is 10,001. So from the next day, this whole pipeline will only run for 10,001. So automatically, you can say it has taken out the maximum and it has applied a filter. Just preview and save it. I'll name it CDC, save, and now I'll just run it. Hopefully, we should not get okay. So what we got now was, you can see we got the data which was loaded into the true data. And now what has happened on the background is, it is not visible here, but what has happened is the maximum of the patient ID is stored on the background. You know? Now the patient ID is stored. Now whenever this pipeline will come again, the new data will come. Yeah? So that was all from my side. Just one last thing. We made a schedule, right? So what we'll do is we'll just check if that schedule ran or not. Okay, so we made the schedule at 13:40 or 13:41, which was Indian Standard Time. We can see it right here. This was the name of the schedule, and we can see that schedule has ran successfully. So I can just click on this arrow right here. And, okay, so it will load me all the logs of the section. Okay, so I think the schedule is running right now. That's why we did not get any logs as such. And now the demo of a simple demo of the simple data is over now of Luminore's data magnet capabilities. If you have any questions, please mention them in the chat box, and we'll be very happy to answer your queries.
If anyone has any questions related to Luminor or Luminor Data Magnet or related to ETL or change data capture functionality, real-time streaming, we are here to answer all your queries. Okay, we have some questions from Suresh. How the integration is set up to ingest the data, how data security is handled, basic question how it is different from ADF informatic or any standard ETL tools, how Luminor Data Magnet is different, how data ingestion is handled if there is no watermark or delta attribute. So, Suresh, basically, the Luminor Data Magnet is in itself a complete module to ingest the data. So we have developed strategies to basically pull data from all different kind of sources, be it your RDBMS systems or REST APIs, or say your ERP systems, CRMs, or OR-based systems like OneDrive, Google Drive, SFTP, any other system. And regarding the data security, the data in transition and data at rest is security. The data is basically encrypted, so your data at rest and your data in transit is all the data is encrypted end to end. So if you talk about data security in Luminar, you can also apply your own data, row level securities and other column level securities, or you can use your own encryption algorithms. We have a query executor step where you can use your own queries in order to encrypt your data, or you can even define JavaScript based logics in the ETL pipeline itself to basically encrypt the data. And regarding how it is different from standard ETL tool, basically the capabilities that the other tools don't offer is the capability to expand horizontally and vertically as well. That is one of the main concerns that we see in the other ETL tools, right? So we have to expand horizontally also, and we have to expand vertically also. And in terms of the data size, we always think that the we are able to load bigger data in a smaller amount of time, and that's what Luminor Data Magnet helps you to. Basically, it helps you to load data in a smaller amount of time and in a much easier and faster manner, right? You have the capabilities to handle your change data capture functionalities in at the time of load, or even using the upsert data load strategies, or in case you want to perform some SCD type of load, SCD1 type of load, SCD2 type of load. Those type of loads you can perform through Luminor Data Magnet. And then we have the added capability of replicating your complete database system from one database to another database using real-time streaming. And then top of that, the addition of integrated insights with Luminor in Luminor Data Magnet gives you a complete solution for how making it a easier and better approach, right? And does Luminor is in use of MNCs? Yes, yes, we are in use of multiple MNCs. I would suggest you to go through our website once. There you can find multiple, things related to a Luminor. And I would also suggest each and every one of you to at least try the Luminor. You can create a free account from the Luminor website, and you can try Luminor Data Magnet and even Luminor Ask Me, Luminor AI related capabilities. Though if you find anything that is worth your while, we are always available for a quick demo also. Do you have a mechanism to monitor pipelines over report? I didn't got you exactly, but as much as I'm getting, you can create your alerts basically, and you can your pipelines to your reports also. So basically, when you're loading data through Luminor Data Magnet into Luminor for your analytics, you basically schedule your reports to be monitored daily. Also, you can download reports for schedules also. I guess I was able to answer your question, Suresh. I'm not sure completely. Sure, sure, Madhavan. You can use this tool in your resume also. We also have some, certifications on Luminor, and we have a good Luminor based community also, where if you have any other questions related to Luminor, you can ask there also in case you're stuck with some issue in your in through in your process of finding how Luminor is. We have the capability to connect with multiple OAuth based connectors, Harshit, like OneDrive, Google Drive, Amazon S3, Dropbox. Any more questions if anyone has? Yes, we do have SaaS offerings. Basically, we provide solutions for both these systems and other on-premise systems also. So basically, any kind of custom solution that you're looking for, it can be catered according to your need. Yes, we do support uh, on-premise installations also, and Luminor is always there to cater to custom needs also. So basically, anything that you require a particular module or even a mix of combination of modules, it can be catered according to your need and as per your requirement. So we'll be waiting for 5 more minutes if anyone has any questions. And I would request you all to visit our website and try Luminor for free. Basically, for first-time users, it's free basically. And if you have any other deeper questions, or if you want to get a quick session on, what Luminor is, or any other module related to ETL, or say any other module of related to Luminor AI, we'll be happy to give you a small quick demo on your use case also, so that would help you, and that would help us to uh, solve your problems and this AI driven analytics to work. Suresh, costing models, basically, I would like to discuss it separately with you. Uh, but yeah, we have for both execution and fixed ways also. That depends on your use case basically, and what kind of system that you're looking for. So if you're thinking to go over a cloud, AWS or Azure or GCP, then we provide you with some different costing model. And if you have an on-premise, setup, then we perform different costing models for that. So Anmol has a question: how can I define custom calculations or metrics in data magnet for real-time reporting? So Anmol, basically you can use editor steps and filter steps to basically define your rules and your custom calculation in the data magnet, as Survey showed you in the demo, that the editor step was used to cast data type of age to int. The similar manner, you can define any kind of expression that you need to apply in your data. And the editor is a really wide step that covers most of the use cases of calculated expressions or calculated variables that you need to create, and those can be catered for your real-time reporting also. using data mining. So I believe, hope you had a good learning, and I would love to see you in some other webinar again from Lumenore. So thank you everyone for joining in, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.